Okay, so you may make a part of that 40 to 50% of guys that will take Chorleys,
Cialis,
Viagra, or any of those generic PED5 inhibitors
for eating,
and not see any benefit, or maybe you started out working. That for most guys after taking it for more than 2 years,
you actually have to increase
the dose just to get the same effect. An increased dose leads to increased side effect, and eventually they just stop working altogether. So there's got to be a plan B that doesn't require you to shoot yourself in the big dog every time you want some action. And there's a plan B. There's a bunch of them, but nobody seems to want to talk about all of them. And Big Pharma's plan B seems to be for you to just combine Viagra and Cialis into one pill and just keep trying, and I wish I were kidding. But I'm not. I know you've seen the ads. You may have even ordered some of it, but there's always a healthier approach than the Big Pharma way. Now normally we talk about how to fix it over time, how to get to the root cause and fix it, but today we're talking about using a peptide to cure it. A peptide like Ozempic, and we go via Ozempic for your eel to transform into a whale. I'm going to discuss the PT141 peptide. Now this little known Cialis replacement option that you can use. Instead of generic PDE5 inhibitors, it'll have you so stiff that men are actually calling it the werewolf stack. It can help you get rock hard and stay that way longer by taking it a few hours before you need to. So let's get into it. PT141 peptide bromelanotide. Say it with me, bromelanotide. And it's been studied as far back as the 1990s. PT141 has been studied on guys who had psychogenic erectile dysfunction, and they were looking at it to potentially replace Viagra or use. In addition, they used it as a nasal spray sniff and stiff, and they actually did double-blind placebo-controlled trials where they used PT141 with Viagra on guys who couldn't use Viagra cause it didn't work, and it worked. So let's talk PT141 side effects, PT141 dosing, and where you can get this stuff. So the question really becomes, if PT141 can work so well as an injection and as a nasal spray, why isn't it talked about? Why isn't it used? Why isn't? My doctor told me this well. You cannot really patent a naturally occurring substance. Like a peptide, there's no money in it for Big Pharma. And with so many other ways to enhance your stiffness, I really want you to know about all of them so that you can make good decisions. You haven't gotten it already? Make sure you grab my free gift that's pinned below at the top of the comment section, and it's gonna lock the secret to how you can eat and snack for your erections. Eat for your erections, so click the link below and put your email in, and I'll send you a discreet message with the link. Now, in order to understand what a game changer PT141 or bromelanotide really is, first, let's review a little bit about how generic Viagra even work. Now, PDE5 inhibitors work by mechanism where they're blocking an enzyme called the PDE5, and by doing this it actually allows for the nitric oxide gas that's been created in your blood cells to stay around and cause relaxation of the blood vessels so that blood flow can come, an erection can achieve, and you can achieve one and maintain it. Now, before I get into it, I really want you to put your headphones on so you can actually hear this, because I always want you to know that you have options. And on this channel, we dive deep into the pros and cons of all these options. And while you're grabbing your headphones, click the subscribe button so you really won't miss out on any of these updates on the latest on men's health information. Now, a lesser known alternative to TLC virus, PT141 peptide. Maybe you got results with the others, maybe you didn't, but with this you potentially have fewer side effects. So what happens to this cascade of events when your prescription for generic Viagra or Chorleys stops working? Well, here it is. PT141 actually isn't a new peptide. I found studies dating all the way back to the early to late 1990s, looking at PT141 as an alternative to Viagra, specifically for men who couldn't tolerate the side effects, or who are part of the 30 to 50% of men who it just doesn't even work for them. So bromelanotide, first, a little bit of background, is a peptide. Now, peptides are simply a string of amino acids. Nothing fancy. You are very familiar with amino acids. Creatine is an amino acid, and peptides are basically smaller versions of proteins that are actually like building blocks for proteins and certain body functions, and they are naturally occurring within the body, and the man-made peptides created mimic naturally occurring peptides that are in your body, and they become extremely popular in the media and in practice because of the minimal side effects and because they don't seem to change much about what the body was naturally intended to do. They almost work to rebalance some of their unpopular peptides. I'm sure you've heard of Wegovy and Ozempic. Yeah, those big weight loss ones. Those are peptides, but peptides are interesting because in many cases, we see them actually curing disease, which is actually a new thing for Western medicine. And Big Pharma hasn't traditionally put much energy into peptides because isolated proteins and peptides fall within the realm of natural products, and without something more, they may not be patentable, which means making billions of dollars off of peptide therapies is really difficult. But these peptide therapies can address many health concerns because of their ability to target and influence specific body pathways and functions to keep things rolling like they normally do. So how does PT141 peptide work as in erectile dysfunction treatment? Well, PT141 is a man-made version of a hormone that regulates sexual function at the brain level. Now, whereas Viagra alter blood flow at the penis level and the blood vessel level. That is why there's so many side effects when you're taking those medications, like heart racing or tachycardia, condition changes, reflux, stuffy nose, hot flashes, etc., etc. Because of how it works now. PT141 is a synthetic version of melanocyte-stimulating hormone, and in clinical trials it's erectogenic, and it helps bring the erection to the male tissue and to women in their clitoral erectile tissue, so big wood and mini wood, right? And it's actually revolutionary because it can help bring on an erection whether you've had any sexual stimulation or not. So why do the erectile dysfunction medications stop working anyway? Why do these prescription meds stop working? Well, the first time you ever took Cialis or Viagra, it either went one or two ways. It was either like a magic wand and then you felt like crap, or it didn't really work. And if you've depleted your storage supplies of nitric oxide within your body, or your body has trouble making it, if there's too much fibrosis or thickened penile tissue present, which happens over time, as that erectile tissue stops getting the nourishment that it did in your 20s, if the blood vessels are too damaged, when hormones are disrupted or not balanced, and if you have nerve damage, either through an injury or through chronic diseases like diabetes and hypertension, and if nerve signaling has been disrupted or impaired, or if there's something going on up here, kind of a psychological block, these meds may never work for you. So enter PT141, and as a matter of fact, Daryl, a gentleman from within our Life Free Go Hard community, just told me last week, Doctor, I've been using PT141 with great success. It keeps me hard for 12 hours and hasn't caused any problems yet. 4 milligrams is my dose now. He's on smoothie routine. He functions smoothie routine and follows my dietary suggestions. And as a matter of fact, make sure you get the free gift I have for you on how to eat for your stiffness, cause it is what you eat. So the link is pinned below in the comments. Now, when Viagra stops working, the PT141 peptide can be used either instead of or in addition to. Taking it together with Cialis is a biohacking term called stacking. It's a term that men in this biohacking space have called the werewolf stack because it brings out the animal. And PT141 actually has sexual benefit for both men and women. It's shown to increase sexual desire in both guys and girls. In women, it's been shown to increase genital arousal, which women need, particularly for the perimenopausal, because as menopause grows closer, things start to shut down. And PT141 has been clinically shown to make an erection. And honestly, something kind of special about it is that it can help create an erection, whether there's sexual stuff going on or not. Now, there are 2 options on how to take PT141. You can inhale it as a nasal spray, or you can use a tiny needle to inject it into the fat of your tummy. And it's been studied and shows success using it either way. So you can try it as a nasal spray, or you can inject anywhere from 1 to 5 milligrams right into the tummy. Most guys actually seem to prefer the injection. In fact, early studies demonstrated that PT141, subcutaneously, used in men with moderate or severe erectile dysfunction, who did not get an erection with generic Viagra. These guys actually had a significant erection compared to the placebo group. Now the most promising part about using PT141 peptide is that in a journal article published in the Journal of Urology back in 2007 titled, Salvage of Sildenafil Failures with Bromolanotide, a double-blind placebo-controlled study is that the peptide helped men with the forms of ED and erectile dysfunction that had the worst prognosis. Those who had really damaged tissue and blood vessels headed to the erection. So let's talk about some of the reported side effects using PT141 peptide, cause nothing can be all roses and cherries, right? So in the group, mostly the complaint was nausea, some flushing and sweating, and some complaint of lower back pain and a taste disturbance. Well, you know, if you spray anything in your nose, of course it's gonna taste bad. The most common complaint I hear from guys is nausea. That lasts for about an hour and then goes away. So there's so many ways to enhance stiffness. You just really have to figure out what works for you. So share your experiences before now. Have you used PT141, and if so, where did you get it? Now we share experiences here. This is not the group that holds back. I want you to know all of the hacks. And so if you haven't gotten it already, make sure you grab my free gift. It's pinned below to the top of the comment section, and unlock the secrets on how to eat and snack for your erection. Now all you do is enter your email and I'll send you a really discreet message. All my messages will be discreet with a link. So PT141 could be expensive. I'm not gonna lie, in a 10 milligram lot of vial will run you about $50. And for guys who have erectile dysfunction, you need to take about 4 milligrams. Guys who just want to enhance stiffness, it's more like 1 milligram, and the nasal spray starts at around $250. But the good news is that you can split the price with your partner, because your partner can use it and you can use it. Now, this is whether your partner is female or male. And the FDA has not approved this for the treatment of ED or low libido, and of course, I have to tell you this. This is something you want to do alongside your doctor. Your doctor can write a prescription for PT141, and you can get it from a local compounding pharmacy or an online compounding pharmacy. Or if you're a DIY guy, if you like to do it yourself, you can find a reputable research pharmacy online where you can source and buy PT141 without a prescription. Reconstitute it yourself. And now listen. The FDA is working really hard to make them illegal, and members of the anti-aging and biohacking community have found ways around it. And the research arm is a way to do that. So subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of this groundbreaking men's health information. And Dr. Rachel and I'm out. See ya.